Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of the Excalibur Roundtable Tech Talk. I am Mike Fuson. This is part of our extended Tech Talk series with our friends from Connect Now. I have with us Ash Carr from Connect Now. Ash, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks for having me. Good to be here.
And what we're going to talk about today is within Connect Now, we have the ability, beyond all of the other wonderful abilities that Connect Now has, but one of the features is the ability to transfer chats. We've talked before in previous tech talks about kind of the genesis of this, how it was built, kind of thinking about what you do typically with a call that would come in to a service desk and the need to be able to do a lot of the same functions, if you will, that you'd be able to do with a call. And often, as is the case, we've talked about skills-based routing within Connect Now, the ability to get them to the correct person based on the questions that they're answering and kind of driving them to the person with the correct skill. But sometimes maybe they've asked the wrong thing or they didn't know what to ask, as happens also often in regular incidents that come in. They're having a problem with Outlook, is what the user's experience is. And it turns out, as you dig into it a little bit with them, it's actually a VPN issue because they're not able to connect to the VPN, so they can't get to the Exchange server. Now, no, I'm talking a little bit old school because everybody's on Office 365 now, but maybe it could be an internal system. They're getting an error on the accounting system, and it's because their VPN is acting up or there's some sort of issue with the VPN. But they've come in saying, I've got an accounting system problem. And as a typical technician, we've troubleshot that issue and found out it's something else that maybe we don't have the right skills to help solve that problem, which solves then what was the underlying, it's the underlying cause of the issue. But we need to get that additional help. So we've talked about the ability to transfer those chats, and I think it's just such a kind of a cool concept. And there's other concepts that we're going to talk about, things like not today, in a future tech talk, they're going to be able to see also the ability to do conferencing as well. So again, you start to liken this to the phone capabilities. That's so much. It's such a common flow for us as technicians. So Ash, take it away. Let's talk a little bit about being able to transfer a chat to another technician.
Absolutely. Let's jump straight into a demonstration. So we've got a really easy example here where the customer has just come straight in and said, I need help setting up the VPN on my iPad. But you're absolutely right. Usually what would have happened here is a couple of minutes would have passed by, some conversation between the agent and the customer to identify that they've gone to the wrong place. And now we need to transfer this customer through to the remote access skill set because the agents on that skill set are equipped to handle this kind of query. So let's go to transfer, and we can pick which queue we want to send to. In this instance, we're going to go to remote access, click transfer. And if we very quickly just have a look at the customer's interface, there's a couple of things we do to make sure that they're aware of exactly what's happening, just in case the agent didn't tell them directly. And so they get a modal that says you're being transferred. And if you do close that, you can see at the top that your chat is being transferred, and you've got an alert message there as well. So jumping back over to the agent, I can again see this chat queuing, and this time on the remote access skill set. So although I am the same agent for the purposes of this demonstration, generally speaking, a different agent would answer this sort of chat. If I answer it, we can see crucially one of the big benefits that we've got is that that entire history is retained. So this was again inspired from a bit of a bugbear from when I used to work in a service desk, and we've all been in the same experience, I imagine, where we've called some kind of support desk. And the problem that we have is that we end up with the wrong department. They have to transfer you somewhere else, and you have to repeat the same 10-minute conversation again because you were cold transferred into a queue. Whoever's going to answer that phone call, they don't know what your problem is. Connect Now fixes that by simply including the entire chat log. So you don't need a warm transfer process here where you've handed off from one person to another, which takes more time, of course, because Connect Now handles that automatically.
And so I, as a technician, then could say, hey, give me 1 second here. I'm going to kind of catch up on on what you've been guys have been what you talked about with our last technician. Okay, and
Hmm.
then boom, dive right into it. It gives
It's
me
a
that
canned response for
ability
that.
to right, and all of this, something that we hadn't mentioned, is also able to be tracked back to our IT service management platform as the overall
Mm.
the overall the chat log itself, kind of what's gone on with this particular incident in this case, something that somebody needs fixed. Could also easily be a service request, but it's been logged accordingly within our IT service management system. We're able to do our
Hmm.
resolutions, and we'll get into a whole bunch of stuff that kind of ties into ITSM. But that's a core of this is interfacing with and helping us to manage those things within ITSM. And this is a channel for us to communicate with the customer. But very, very easy as you can see to transfer a chat over to someone else within the system. There was a couple of clicks. The customer's aware of what's going on, and you've communicated that to them. Let me transfer you over to our VPN queue, since I see what your problem is, and one of those folks can help there. And we saw your little timer kind of counting down, and we know from what we've seen and we've gleaned from customers that are leveraging Connect Now and chat functionality is that the typical answer time is measured in seconds, not in minutes, very
Mm.
typically,
Yeah.
because they can pull up and the ability to actually handle multiple chats at once, and we're going to see that feature functionality in a future episode. So you start to think about this. This is a concept of something we're already doing. It's just moving it to a new channel of communications. So exciting, and something that's so needed today, I think, as the ability to provide multiple channels in multiple ways for customers to have that experience in communicating with us from a service desk perspective, or really from an IT perspective, because this isn't limited to the service desk.
No.
We can have agents that are tier 2, tier 3 if we want, that are part of this, and we can even take this beyond even IT. So this could be an HR queue. This could be an accounting queue. This could be different departments within our organization could be leveraging chat to communicate with the customers that are there that have a question or a challenge or a problem as another means of communication. And could we Teams chat them? Yeah, sure we could, but do we need it to be logged? Is it logged work that they need to be able to do? Now they're doing a manual sort of thing.
Hmm.
Um, these are folks that are ready and able to handle inquiries that come in. And we've talked about this with a number of customers where we talk about like HR, right? Somebody has an HR question. How do I do this? How do I do that? Um, you have a couple of HR folks that are there to answer chat. Maybe they don't get a lot of chats in a given day, but they're
Hmm.
there and available to be able to quickly handle those. And as we move IT service management to enterprise service management for so many customers, where they have HR queues, they have facilities queues, they have queues for other departments within the organization, the ability to offer chat as a channel becomes very, very important. So, Ash, as always, it's always a pleasure to have you with us. Thank you for joining us. Join us again for another episode of the Excalibur Roundtable Tech Talk. And I'll have Ash with me again, and we'll dive into additional features of the platform that we love to call Connect Now.